I cannot believe it. I cannot believe what has just come out. Like, by the way, I think this is all the script. I'm going to talk about it a little bit later in this video. But it has now come out the reason why Caitlyn Clark did not make the Olympic team. And it seems that she just has too many fans. There's too many people that would be annoyed that the stardom she brings and the discourse around it when she wouldn't be the starting point guard. And someone said the quiet part out loud. This is mad. Like, it kind of made sense for basketball reasons because she's not as good as Chelsea Gray. But this is wild. Before we go on, if you guys aren't new to the channel, subscribe. We're trying to hit 7,000 subscribers as soon as possible. But anyway, now let's get on to the video. So, I'm going to read out the quote right here. And it says, Team USA veterans were concerned about how Caitlyn Clark's millions of fans would react to her likely limited playing time on a stacked Olympic roster. Basically, yeah, it says 2 longtime USA basketball veterans with decades of experience in the women's game told USA Today, Sports Friday, that was the concern and why she didn't make the team. So basically, it means that they've admitted that the tension around, everything around Caitlyn Clark, the whole tension around Caitlyn Clark, the whole thing, the fact that she's going to bring eyes is the reason they didn't pick her. By the way, she's not in the best 12 players in America. Can we just, let's just end this discussion right here. If they're picking their best 12 players, she's not on it. But at the same time, if the USA men's team are picking their best 12 players, there's a lot of guys that made that. There's some guys that made that team that should not have made it. The USA team did not pick their 12 best players in the men's. Like, I'm just putting it out there right now. LeBron is not one of the 12. Is not one of the... you know what? LeBron maybe. Kawhi Leonard should not have made that team. Kawhi should not have made that team. In the year of our Lord 2024, there's no way that Kawhi Leonard should be on that team because he's hurt. But basically, yeah. She didn't get selected because of what the fans might think about her getting selected. But then the fans are going to go crazy about her not being selected. And it's going to cause a whole bunch of complaints about the team. And then now this comes out. And it shows that basically everything that people are saying is right. At the WNBA and people around, and I know it's not USA Basketball, it's WNBA, but it's a WNBA adjacent thing, that people in that actually don't necessarily want the Clark circus, which is crazy because it'll make all the more money. I'm just saying this right now. Even if you're a WNBA fan, A'ja Wilson is being talked about more this season than ever before. A'ja Wilson is not that much better this season than before. A'ja Wilson has had, I would say, 50 times more discourse around her play than any other year. Breanna Steward than any other year. More people are watching the other games than any other year as well. Obviously not in proportion to Clark games, but more people are talking about it. And look, people are watching the Sky, who are a weak team. People are actually, and as much as she doesn't have, not to the same proportion as Caitlyn Clark is, but people are watching the Sky for injuries. The Sky are not a very good team. No, and people are watching the Fever, who are a terrible team solely for Caitlyn Clark. People are watching the Sky for Reese, who are a bad team as well. They're probably not going to make the playoffs, and if they do, they're going to be on a very lower seeds. But I'm telling you, I think this is scripted. I think this whole thing is scripted. My whole theory is she doesn't make the team. The fans are in absolute uproar. People start talking about the Olympics team. And then the leak comes out basically saying the fans, the people expecting to see her dominate, whereas she'll be one of the last guys off the bench, which is fair enough. She's a rookie. Was the reason why they didn't bring her. They didn't bring her because of nothing to do with her, because of the whole discourse around her, which is a terrible reason, by the way. An absolutely terrible reason. The USA team is not going to lose a game. You can play her 15 minutes a game. It's not going to change anything. And then you got idiots in the comment section being like, oh, she thinks the WNBA is tough. She's never seen international ball. No, I've watched international women's basketball. It's not even 1/10 of the dirty plays of WNBA. And this is from somebody that actually watches international women's basketball. There are very few levels of basketball that I haven't watched, whether it be from being around low level pro basketball, watching EuroLeague, watch plenty of BBL because it's on TV here. I'll watch a lot of women's international ball because I'll watch the Irish teams play, and a lot of the time I'll watch the teams that are playing the Ireland team to see how they are and how Ireland team would stack up to them. I'll watch random leagues around the world trying to scout players. Like, for obviously the team that I'm involved with the coaching staff. Like, I will watch so much basketball of every level. The most like dirty, violent basketballs in the WNBA. Like, international ball is going to be a cakewalk for every single one of those players in the USA team. And the USA could literally have cut every single one of those players, by the way, and brought a starting five of Caitlyn Clark, Paige Beckers, Rakia Jackson, Alia Edwards, Angel Reese, or Cameron Brink, Angel Reese, and they would still probably win. They would almost certainly win. Maybe Australia could give them a bit of a run for their money, but they would still probably win with that five. Like, I'm not joking. It is, like, that's the talent gap. Talent gap's so much bigger than the men's. But, again, my theory is that obviously the third step is that Chelsea Grays, who hasn't played basketball since the WNBA finals last year, she hasn't played basketball in 8 months. Her team has basically replaced her. Or not replaced her, brought in somebody to, like, they've brought in cover for her. I don't think Chelsea Gray is going to be available for the Olympics. And then Caitlyn Clark gets brought back in. So for the next, 4 weeks, the talk is going to be about the Olympic team. About this Olympic team. Oh, is Caitlyn Clark going to make it? And then she's going to make the team. The drama. It's the drama. It is the soap opera. I'm convinced this is scripted. I'm so convinced this whole thing is scripted. And I'm more certain now than ever that Caitlyn Clark's going to be on that plane to Paris. Because look, she's one of the two reserves, and she's the point guard. And it's a point guard that's injured. Genuinely. It's her and Breanna Jones. Breanna Jones is center. She's a point guard. Chelsea Gray's injured. Who's a point guard who made the 12? I'm fully convinced this is scripted. I'm fully convinced. I'm crazy. Please. Tell me I'm not crazy. That this whole thing just seems like a farce. They brought a player who is injured, who plays the same position as Caitlyn Clark, and as Caitlyn Clark is a reserve. Caitlyn Clark's going to be on the plane. I'm almost certain she's going to be on the plane. Am I crazy? Am I crazy? Let me know, guys, in the comment section. Am I crazy for saying that? And also, you always bring a young player. In 2021, they brought Sabrina Ionescu. In 2020 Olympics, but in 2021, they brought Sabrina. In 2016, they brought Breanna Steward. They do have a history of bringing young players, and there's no player on this team that is more than a year older than me, or a year younger than me. I'm born in September 1996. Sabrina Ionescu, I think, is a year younger than me, and she's the youngest player on this team. Their youth will be in their 30s the next Olympics. So, for continuity, it doesn't matter in the USA. There are definitely players that were bigger snubs, by the way. Arika Gumawale is probably a bigger snub, but the problem is that she is literally a shot chucker. If you put Arika on a team of really good players and she doesn't get to shoot the ball once every minute, I don't know how well she would do, to be honest. She's shooting worse percentages than Caitlyn Clark. Everyone talking about Caitlyn Clark's bad shooting percentages. Arika's shooting worse and shoots 3 times as much as Caitlyn Clark does throughout a game. But yeah, that is pretty much it, lads. Let me know what you guys think. Do you guys agree or disagree with the fact that this is all a script? Do you guys think Caitlyn Clark's going to end up making the roster? In my opinion, they're going to hold. I don't think Chelsea Gray is going to be able to play in the Olympics. I think they're going to hold out the news story as long as possible. And then they're going to announce in probably, let's just say the hype's still there. Caitlyn Clark just played a good game. I reckon they play, I think they play against, I think it's the 17th of July. So I think it'll be a month from now. I think, if I'm not mistaken, the games, I think, is the 17th of July. June 27th. So the All-Star game is on the 21st of July. So the last game is the 17th of July. Yeah. So what I'm guessing is around the 1st of July, they announced Chelsea Gray is not going to play and Caitlyn Clark's in the team. So that you've got a month of discourse around all these. You've got 2 weeks of talk about this game right here. And then in 2 weeks' time, the Fever play the Aces again. It's not Fever play the Aces, the Fever play the Sky again. People are going to talk about that. Then you've got 2 more weeks of discourse about that. Then you've got the Caitlyn Clark announcement for the Olympics, where people talk about that for a couple of weeks. Then you've got the All-Star game, you've got the break, and you've got all the Olympic pre-games. That is my theory, my whole media theory. I'm convinced this is all scripted.